Remember, last time we had dinner here in Austin 2-3 years ago, there was some corporation here that was threatening you, saying we're on to you. And do you remember that?
Well, I mean, I can't confirm it was DynCorp, but right, DynCorp was in the congressional hearings. DynCorp, well, it was admitted, was running giant child kidnapping rings all over the world with the UN. It was in major papers, and I was getting very serious death threats over that.
Right, and then that you found fun?
Well, I mean, not just saying, hey, I mean, they're scum, they're evil. I'm standing up against you, and that means I'm hurting you. That means I'm trying to bring you to justice. That means I'm exposing you, and so
that truth will set you free.
It does. It sets you free.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Alex. You know, this is we're so honored actually to have you in the documentary, because I know you're a busy guy. You do the show, and it's actually been really inspirational. Because up till now, the journey has been, you know, people going into their truth, and some of it becomes really heavy. And
when is your documentary coming out?
We're going to finish shooting this summer, and we'll probably be out around October, November. We'll be going to different film festivals. And then
Stay there. Stay there.
Stay there. Okay, Alex, one more question. The whole concept of shoot the messenger, you know, that this is the idea that you are bringing this information, and that people who are afraid of that or don't want to hear it attack you. What's your position? How do you handle that? Well,
I get on the highway every day, even though it's the #1 cause of death until you hit about 55, then it's cancer and heart attacks. I put my children in my car. I seatbelt them in and try to drive safe, but still, I mean, I'm endangering their lives. But that's the danger that goes on in everyday life. So why wouldn't I take attacks? Why wouldn't I take physical danger? Why wouldn't I put myself at risk for liberty and freedom and the adventure of knowing the truth and standing up for the little guy who's being abused? And I'll go back to what I said earlier. So many things I've talked about have come true. Yeah. So many times when I come out first on day one and say 9/11's an inside job and lose more than half the radio stations I was on within a couple of weeks, I didn't feel bad when my paycheck went way down and all that. I told the truth. I had honor. I was for real. When all these so-called other you know, people and activists, I've seen them all sell out for a bag of peanuts. You know, to me, telling the truth is what's truly honorable, and then being successful doing it my way. You know, that makes it that much better. There's no blood on my hands. And so I really feel good, and I'm trying to teach other people how to have courage and stand up against tyranny. And that doesn't mean that they have to all have my view or my idea. One of the few painful things, but I've even learned to understand that you're going to cast seeds out, and some are going to fall on the rocks, some are going to fall into the water. Some are going to fall into the good dirt, but not sprout. Yeah. It's a very small percentage that are going to get into the dirt and really grow into, you know, beautiful oak trees. And so I'm throwing out all this seed. I've woken up conservatively probably 100 million people worldwide. My films have been seen more than 200 million times online that we know of for free. The media can never understand that when I tell them that. It's free. It's free because I want the people to wake up. Right. The globalists traffic in the men's of souls. The globalists traffic in the souls of men. And I traffic in trying to save those souls from being pre-programmed and never really flourishing. And so I can't expect it that if I wake up a bunch of people, some of them are going to go off and do bad things. Some of them are going to do good things. Some of them are going to do great things. Some of them are going to do nothing. Some of them are going to turn against me and become agents of evil and agents of weakness and agents of corruption and agents of greed. But that's the way it works. And so I feel sadness for them, just like I feel sadness for the public who will never hear this message of truth, or will hear it and dust themselves off when they've been hit by the truth and, you know, keep on walking down the road. As Churchill said, everybody gets everyone runs into the truth in their life at one time or another. But most people get knocked over by it, get up, dust themselves off. I didn't do that. And so I've been awake since I was a child to the wonder, to the majesty, to the magic of the world. And I think it's because I had that poetic, loving heart that I was able early on to also see the bad. It's because I see the good and the beauty and the innocence and the honor and everything pure that I'm also able to then see the things that are dark and degenerate and dangerous and aberrant and bad.
And look into that abyss, as you said earlier.
Yes, look into that abyss.
Wow. That's fascinating. So you can balance the two, and that without the one, you wouldn't have the other?
Absolutely.
Right. Wow. Well, thank you so much. That's awesome. We can't, it's very inspiring, actually, because I know times where even I'll just be like, you know, it seems overwhelming, all this information.
Well, that's the system trying to crush your humanity, trying to overwhelm you, it's called learned helplessness. They've done it with dogs and rats and other mammals, where they shock them and torture them in a cage. Every time they try to get their food, they get shocked till they just give up and go in the corner and die. No. We're not a dog or a rat trapped in a cage. We can break out of the cage and go against our controllers. The whole world is a giant mad scientist laboratory where they're trying to harness and dominate and dehumanize humanity because they're threatened by that dynamic human spirit. They hate it. They want to destroy it. It's just highly intuitive. Everybody is, Dean. Dean-Haglund, final segment. Bob Chapman coming up here in just a few minutes. See, Dean, I also have the long view of history.
Right.
I know that I could get killed, set up, jailed, destroyed in the media. Doesn't matter. I did my work. I've woken up a bunch of people. I've gotten them to think outside the box. Many of the terms that I developed to describe the planet are now in common use, and I'm not even credited with most of it. People are using it. Another example of the human potential, human power that everybody has. And so I know whether it's 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the road, my work will just continue on if even I, the image or the, an icon of this is destroyed, because it'll just be reborn later. And so it's that unselfishness that conquers evil. And it's also recognizing there is evil. You know, there is corruption.
Right.
There are psychopaths that see death and destruction and a pile of dead bodies as beautiful. You and I think a Colorado vista and snow-capped mountains and a beautiful woman, with us that we're, having a great day together and a glass of wine and, happiness and fields of flowers and driving past happy, farmhouses and orchards. That buoys our soul. But
right.
but the criminal psychopath, the high-functioning sadistic psychopath, they enjoy domination, control. In fact, I want to read this on air for your peace. Okay. Can you guys print me the 2 Orwell passages that I read earlier in the week? Can you guys dig them up? And if we can't find it now, I will read it outside during a break to you guys. Okay. Where we describe the enemy, where O'Brien is torturing Winston. Yeah. And just 1984. Priest of Power, we'll pull it up. That'll give you the passages. Also, 1984, trampling and being trampled on. Right. See, because to them, it's all about power. It's just the continued triumph, the domination of goodness, the evil society working together, because all that's good to them is very ugly. Right. And so they're seeking to tear it down and destroy it.
And that's from fear? Is that why, or is it just a psychopathic mind?
Well, they do have a lot of fearful control freaks that also serve them. Mm-hmm. But at the very top, they're psychos. And a lot of psychopathic tendencies are in families. Mm. And you have a lot of elites inbreeding. And when you have inbreeding, psychopathic tendencies, megalomania tends to manifest. And you notice these elite families have been inbreeding for centuries in Europe, thousands of years total. Mm-hmm. And so they are a different group of people in many respects from the general population.
Wow. Wow, that's sad, because I come from Swedish royalty myself, and I shouldn't perhaps let everyone know that that's in my system. So, but thanks again. Well,
there've been some good kings too.
Yeah, a couple. But we can trace the Haglund family line goes back to King Eric XIV, who was, he was a little.
I think most of us who have got European ancestors. Almost everybody out there. Has quite a bit of those, because there's been so many other royal houses, and mm-hmm. Germany had something like 20 different principalities in it. Each one had a king over it. Right.
And there were smaller empires.
Absolutely. Yeah. I had it's ridiculous if you look at my family line, how many people, but I got a lot of ancestors from England. Yeah. But, German royals, but that's all a dime a dozen. Everybody's related to those people if they're European. Mm-hmm. And most groups, most people who are from Mexico, I guarantee you, have got some bloodline going back to Aztec kings.
Oh, right.
if you study bloodlines, it's like my mom's side of the family, 2 people in the Mayflower, my dad's side directly to Captain Jones. And
cool.
it just goes on.
That's where the Jones names come from Captain Jones, the explorer?
Yeah.
You could trace it all the way back?
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool. It's odd that you're now exploring still.
I think all humans explore, though, Dean.
Oh, really? I'm finding some that don't, actually.
Well, I mean, there are some people, well, they want to explore the football scores.
Yeah.
They want to explore the topless bars. They want to explore me. I mean, I want to explore the mysteries of the world, the mysteries of the universe.
Well, yeah, and you certainly have on this show.